So, if you're a business owner, I'm sure it feels like AI is just everywhere. Every news headline is either telling you it's going to save your business or warning you it's going to destroy it. And honestly, it's exhausting. So, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you a practical guide for what AI actually means for you and your business.
To really get a handle on the hype, you have to look at the very top. The world of big AI is just burning through cash at a rate that is, well, it's pretty unbelievable. One venture capitalist, looking at OpenAI's massive spending, actually compared it to the whole WeWork saga, but on steroids. That kind of tells you everything you need to know about how high the stakes are.
But, and this is really important, there's a huge distinction to make here. As Sebastian Malaby from the Council on Foreign Relations points out, even if a giant player like OpenAI were to fail, it doesn't mean AI itself is a failure. Nope, it would just be the end of the most hyped up player in the game. The technology underneath it all is real, even if some of the business models seem a little shaky.
All right, so that brings us to our first big question, right? Is this whole thing just a massive bubble? The amount of money flying around is almost too big to even wrap your head around. Get ready for this number, $650 billion. That's what the big tech companies are on track to spend just this year, mostly on building out data centers to power this whole AI boom. I mean, it is an infrastructure project on a scale we've rarely seen before.
So, when you hear about these trillion-dollar ambitions and billion-dollar spending sprees, it's pretty easy to feel like this has absolutely nothing to do with my day-to-day world. How does any of that connect to a real business, with real employees and real budget constraints?
Well, here's the truth. The AI that's actually useful for you today is so much simpler than all that hype would have you believe. In fact, you've probably been using it for years. Just think about it. Your emails, spam filter, grammar tools, even the autocorrect on your phone. These are all forms of AI that have been quietly helping you out for a long, long time. And the sky hasn't fallen, right? Okay, so let's focus in on the specific type of AI that's causing all the buzz right now. But let's do it in a practical way. We're going to talk about generative AI because, frankly, it's the most relevant and useful tool for most businesses today. At its core, generative AI is really pretty simple. It creates new stuff. We're talking text, images, summaries, based on the instructions that you give it. We call those instructions prompts. The key thing to remember here is that it doesn't do anything on its own. It's a tool that just waits for your direction. And this right here is probably the most important mindset shift you can make. AI is a support tool. It's not a decision maker. Just think of it as a way to get a really strong first draft, but faster. The final call, the responsibility for accuracy, tone, and the ultimate decision, that always stays with you. You're always in control. The absolute best way to think about generative AI is to imagine you just hired a new, very capable junior assistant. It's super fast, it's helpful, but you wouldn't let a brand new hire send a critical email to a client without you looking it over first, would you? Of course not. The exact same rule applies here. And when you think about it that way, it stops being this scary risk and turns into a really powerful tool. So let's get really clear on what this new assistant is good at and what it's not so good at. It is fantastic at drafting first versions of things, it's great at summarizing long, boring documents, and it's amazing at turning your messy notes into polished text. But it is not good at making final judgment calls. It has zero understanding of emotional nuance, it is not always 100% accurate, and you should never, ever rely on it for anything related to legal or compliance issues. This all leads to a super simple and really responsible framework. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, the human decides. You define the goal, you set the agenda. Step 2, the AI drafts. It creates that first version for you. And step 3, the human refines. You review it, you edit it, and you own that final output. See? The beginning and the end are always, always yours. Okay, so the concept is clear, but where can you actually start using this in your business, like today, without a big investment or a fancy technical background? Well, here are 5 low-risk, high-impact ways to get started. First up, internal communications. Use it to get a first draft of a staff announcement or to update an old company policy. Second, customer-facing drafts. You can create templates for common email responses or those friendly appointment reminders. Third, meeting follow-up. It can take your notes and spit out a clean summary with clear action items. Love that one. Fourth, process documentation. It is perfect for finally getting those standard operating procedures written down. And fifth, marketing content. Use it to get first drafts for social media posts, newsletters, web copy, you name it. See the pattern here? None of these are about replacing people. They're about getting rid of that blank page problem and saving you time.
Okay, so if you want to get good results out of your new assistant, you have to give it clear instructions. In the AI world, we call this prompting with a purpose.
And the principle couldn't be simpler. Better input gets you better output. Garbage in, garbage out, right? If you give it vague instructions, you're going to get vague, useless results. But if you give it clear, specific context, you're going to get a draft that's almost ready to go. So a really solid business-grade prompt, it usually has 6 key ingredients. Think of it like a recipe. First, give it a role, like act as a friendly customer service manager. Then, define the audience it's writing for. State the goal of the task. Describe your brand tone. Are you formal, playful, professional? Add any constraints, like keep it under 100 words or don't mention pricing. And finally, specify the output format you want, like an email or maybe a bulleted list.
Yeah, just think of your prompt as the blueprint. You wouldn't ask a builder to just go build you a house without one, right? The more detail you put into that blueprint, the closer the final result is going to be to what you actually wanted in the first place.
And last, but definitely not least, before you copy and paste anything into any AI tool, I want you to do this quick 10-second safety check. Just quickly ask yourself, is this info confidential? Does it have any customer data in it? Is it covered by any compliance rules? And hey, is this even a business-approved tool? Making this a simple habit can save you from a major headache down the road. So let's make this real. Forget the hype, forget the billion-dollar investments for just a second. Just think about your to-do list for this week. What is one task, just one, that you could get a helpful first draft for? Because starting small and getting a quick win, that's how you build real momentum. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.